Hello, everyone. This is Kripa Anand, and welcome to the She and Success podcast, powered by She and Success Business Magazine, a platform dedicated to spotlighting the voices, strategies, and journeys of women leaders and entrepreneurs who are shaping Canada's business and policy landscape. Today, we are discussing how to get noticed in an increasingly crowded digital world. In 2026, as AI automates more content than ever, the real competitive advantage for a small business isn't a larger marketing budget, it's a more human story. Joining us today is Jenn Wint, founder of WINT Communications. Based in Vancouver, Jenn is a PR strategist and author who specializes in making media visibility accessible for founders and small brands. She is here to talk about shifting from content to credibility and why authentic lived experiences are the most powerful tools in your growth kit. So, before further ado, let's welcome the special guest. Jenn, welcome to the podcast. Such a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, Jen, we are living in an era where anyone can generate, 1,000 blog posts with a click. Yet it feels harder than ever to actually connect with an audience. So it's a very tricky kind of a situation. So let's start by understanding your perspective on why are authentic human stories more valuable than AI generated content today?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I feel like I've been having this conversation so much recently. People say, how will AI affect work in public relations? And
Mhm.
I firmly believe that stories are only going to increase in value because AI is a great tool. It can help us with lots of information gathering and
Yep.
to create, administrative documents and timelines and things like that. But what it cannot replace is the human experience and more than that, the human connection. And we
Mhm.
want to work with people that we connect with. So I'm not too worried at this point about AI overtaking public relations.
Wow, that's a very confident approach to that. I love it. I agree with you. Prioritizing the human behind the business, it's clearly the only way to build a brand that people actually trust and remember. So great there. Now, Jen, let's explore how PR can be accessible and, also effective for small businesses because everyone knows thought leadership, PR, these are words that any founder likes to hear, but in reality, how exactly, do they get access to it? How do they get closer to actually receiving it? What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, any business that has a story to tell is ready for PR. I often hear from founders, they say, "Yeah, I'm excited about PR and I can't wait to do it,
Mhm.
down the line or one day or when I'm ready." And I often will challenge that question and say, like, what exactly are you waiting for? Other people think they need something to go wrong to start pursuing PR, which is not the case at all.
I think they confuse crisis communication with public relations. So I think
Yes.
that is why.
Definitely. Or people think they have to have like a celebrity spokesperson on board. And
Yeah,
if they don't have the budget for that, then they don't have the need for PR. But, you
right.
know, like I think about the work that you do, you're looking to tell the stories of small businesses. So, I mean, I don't know what you would do if a big business knocked on the door and wanted their story told. You may engage them anyway, but there are a lot of publications and a lot of journalists that want to tell the stories of small businesses. And if they don't know about you, then they can't share your story. So putting yourself on the radar of media as a small business is it's sort
Right.
of a win-win.
Definitely, and for all the founders who are listening to this right now, what would you suggest? What is that one thing that they should be absolutely prepared for before pitching?
Relationship building for sure.
Hmm.
One thing I recommend is consume media. People say, I want to be featured in media. And I say, when was
Yeah,
the last time that you picked up a Globe and Mail and read it? You're saying
exactly.
you want to be in it, but when did you last read it? So consume the media that you think is the right fit for you and sort of allow yourself to picture yourself in that publication. What
Hmm.
section is it in? Who's the journalist that writes the kind of stories that you want to see yourself in? And then go find that journalist on LinkedIn and follow them. Because the other thing is, media is becoming a very much a two-way street. A lot of journalists will do a call out on LinkedIn. They'll
Yeah,
say, are there any small businesses that are facing this challenge that are available to chat? And so
right.
you may, by connecting with a journalist, be able to get some coverage in that way.
So definitely. those are some great ideas. And realizing on a bigger sense that PR is a tool for credibility rather than
Mhm.
just a cost, it makes it a viable growth engine for even the leanest startup. So that was a great touch point there. Now let's discuss how founders can identify and share stories that resonate with media. So you talked about how can founders be media ready, and how can they build relationships with media. But when we talk about small businesses, budget is something that usually they are very tight on, right? So when they're planning the financial part of it, what's your advice?
Well, there's a myth that PR is free, and it is sometimes. And when people say, "What should my PR budget be?" You can actually pursue PR with no budget.
Yeah.
However, I also believe that like nothing is free because you do need to allocate time. So if you are
Yes.
very much in a startup phase and you don't have a lot of budget to give to PR,
Hmm.
but you have the time, then you're in a good spot. And PR doesn't necessarily have to mean going for a big publication. It can be as simple as sending an email to a local podcaster with an idea that you have and saying, do you want to have this conversation? That's great PR. Or letting your local media know about an event that you're involved in and letting them know why that event is of interest to them, not just what the event is, but why, what they might get out of it or why it should be of interest to them. So you really
Right.
don't need a lot of financial budget to take the first steps.
Definitely, I completely agree with you. And being in media myself, I understand the ins and outs. And if there was a way to make all the entrepreneurs explain that you need to realize which stage are you at in your business. Whether it's earned media or strategic paid media. But then definitely, before we go any further into the conversation, here's a special message to all the listeners, especially to all the entrepreneurs watching. In 2026, you cannot advertise your way into someone's heart. You have to earn it. So stop trying to create more content for the sake of the algorithm and start focusing on earning meaningful visibility, whether it's through Jen's PR Power Hours or her accountability club. The goal is to show up consistently. PR is a long game. A pitch you send today might not land until next year, but the momentum you build with, a PR company is what turns a curiosity into a household name. So don't wait for a big budget to go tell your story. Coming back to you, Jen, focusing on earning visibility through relationships, definitely it creates a level of authority that paid ads simply cannot buy in the beginning, but later on, yes. Now let's look at a different angle, at how curated guest strategies drive stronger post event visibility. So from a layman's perspective, I'd love for you to build on, why is guest curation more important than the actual attendance for events?
It goes back to quality over quantity. If you have the right person at an event who's then going to potentially offer you social media coverage
Yeah.
at the event, they're going to potentially write something about it afterwards. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll become a customer or a client of yours, and they're going to remember your product, and maybe that they're going to include it in a gift guide down the line.
Yeah.
You're kind of when you get the right person in the room, you're building on that relationship and you're building on that loyalty and you're creating, a fan of your brand and an ambassador for your brand.
Definitely. I think it also shows that your event kind of lives through the stories and
Yeah.
partnerships created by the people who were actually there. That's great. Now, Jen, you've been in this industry since such a long time. What is the best thing that you enjoy about PR? I'm sure you get to talk to a lot of founders, entrepreneurs, listen to so many stories, give your inputs. So, what's the best thing that you enjoy about this role in your life?
I mean, I love making connections. That's what really lights me up. And when I talk to a founder or a small business who has a great story, and actually, it happened this morning. I was chatting to a founder, and I
Yeah.
said, "You would be such a great fit on this podcast." And so
Yeah.
I connected her with the podcast host actually just 2 hours ago, and said, "I would love for the two of you to connect and share this conversation because I think that the message that you have and the
Yeah.
audience that you have are a perfect fit." So it's really kind of taking these stories
Hmm.
and connecting them with the people who need to hear those messages.
Definitely. And funny enough, this conversation that we're doing right now is also part of earned media, right? So it's amazing how the ripple effect of, one person, the word of mouth that you can get by the organic connections that you make, there's no parallel to that. That's amazing. Jen, I'm loving this conversation, and definitely we'd love for you to be back. But before we get into the final segment, if I were to ask you your success mantra in life, one thing that keeps WINT Communications going, Jen going through all the difficulties, through all the hardships, what is that one thing?
Oh, that's a tough question. Success is such a funny word to define because you go through seasons
Yeah,
and different things happen. And success, I think, looks different for entrepreneurs at different phases. I
yeah.
mean, for women, it looks like different times of the month, it can look very different. But I
Uh-huh.
think for me, staying authentic and staying connected to my community and continuing to build my community is what makes me feel successful on a continuing
Yeah.
basis.
That was a very well articulated and balanced answer. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Uh, Now, before we let you go, Jan, if there's one piece of final advice that you have for, all the business owners, SMB owners who have the story in their heart and their subconscious mind, but not knowing where to start from or what to do next, if you get to whisper one thing in the air, what would you say and why?
I think I would say think about why it matters now, not why it matters to your brand or not why it matters to your company or not why it matters to your success, but
Yeah,
why is your story a good conversation starter now? Like, what are the trends that you're seeing, or what are the patterns that you're seeing, and what problems are you solving for people in your community, whether that's
yeah,
your clients or your audience? But what's happening now that makes it relevant? And I think that's
definitely. Yeah,
the best lens to think about that kind of gets your brain thinking about what the best story is for you in this moment because your story
right.
will change.
Hmm. So definitely, that is a great reminder that your story is ready as soon as you are willing to tell it. So,
Yes.
Jen, thank you so much for being here and sharing your insights with us. It was such a pleasure to get connected.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, that was Jenn Wint from WINT Communications, a masterclass on how to turn human stories into meaningful visibility and how to play the long game of PR to win in 2026. To all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to the She and Success podcast powered by She and Success Business Magazine. Be sure to subscribe for more expert insights and visit sheandsuccess.ca for more such resources. And lastly, a very special thank you to our exclusive shipping partner, Purolator, for their ongoing commitment to supporting women entrepreneurs and helping them build, grow, and lead successful businesses across Canada. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Kripa Anand signing off.